We're good now. I just forgot that I was on my photo camera. So basically, now it's stream camera. But anyway, hello everybody. This is Shoot the Breeze, episode 20, a chill interview and a chill time all around for you and me. I am your host, Heavy Divider, and right with me here is a very humbling individual. As a matter of fact, you could say he's pretty much one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, despite how he looks, especially, devil-like. He's also a very talented in the ways of how he interacts in sense of RPs in general, as well as be able to narrate certain things here and there. My guest for the night here is not Santanile, but Orion Pax. I just call him Orion for short. Welcome, buddy.
Hello there, everyone.
Hey,
there.
How you doing? Also, Celestial said hi. Let you know right away.
Hi, sweetie.
But yeah, so let's get started. Let's get started right away with the first question I have on hand here. How the hell did we meet?
Oh, that's actually a good question. I don't actually remember how we met. I believe we met we went by different groups and stuff like that. We met through other people.
Yeah, we met for different groups on hand here and there. Oddly enough, I met you through one other person on hand, and my first or big interaction I ever had with you started within VR High, when they brought you in as one of the substitute students and everything. And after that or so is when we got a chance to know each other later on more and more for different other RPs and methods in general, and then it just led all the way up to here. So yeah, we've been kind of stuck to the hip with one RP ever since then. So
yeah.
But yeah, stuck to the hip in general with all that. But yeah, that's how we had on hand. Also, I think if I remember correctly, that was 2008. No, not 2018. I think it was early 2019. I think.
2019, early in 2019.
Yeah, early 2019. I'm trying to remember on hand too, because it's it was like how much time changed from there to here overall sake. But yeah, it's been a long time on hand. So let me get your VRChat origins on here. What made you discover this game in general, or what did you come across to be able to play this?
I came across it watching. I was just on Twitch one day, just looking at stuff, and I saw this thing called VRChat, and I saw some people streaming it and doing RPs and stuff like that. So I got interested in it at first, and then I just started watching more streams and stuff like that. I started watching more people who do streaming and stuff like that. And then I just got onto it and wanted to test it myself when I was desktop.
Yeah, and that's usually what happens on hand too, when you just kind of test things on desktop for the most part. You first start with desktop, and then it's you either have a choice. It's you just wait it out for a little bit, then you get a VR headset. Or some people have the ability to be you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and buy a VR headset right now. On the first day they get on desktop. So.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
I got my VR on New Year's December last year in 2019. I've been playing VRChat since early 2018. I was just usually stuck to myself though. I had few friends during those days, but yeah, I'm usually stuck to this.
No, I got you. Well, understand too, you got more friends now than you did back then. I mean, because trust me, it's like a small fish in a big pond trying to figure out where you can actually belong in this world of VRChat, or find the right chemistry or bond with everybody that you can relate to more than anything else. But it seems like you found where you wanted to go, no matter where it is overall on hand. So, my next question on hand I was going to ask is about hobbies. Pretty much, besides this game in general, what other hobbies do you have on hand? Because for the longest time I've known you, you've always been a very quieted person when it comes to whatever you do outside of VRChat, or basically if you had anything you did in general. So it's kind of a blank for me.
My hobbies, I usually mostly read, or just look at poetry, or just listen to music and stuff like that.
A man of culture, I see. Art and culture. Right down the alley.
I do games, but mostly I just read and I just look at stuff.
I gotcha. And this is the reason why we're pretty much in a library here, because it just fits him more than anything else, because this man is pretty much, he knows his literature.
I usually read about maybe 40 books a day.
40 books a day?
Yeah, mostly 40 books a day.
How much time do you have on your hands to be able to, like, do that? Plenty?
Too much.
Too much.
Too much.
Jesus. Too much time on his hand, this man's already becoming his own encyclopedia with how many chapters he has in. Jeez. Yeah, he's too formidable.
Yeah.
Too formal. But it's all good.
And then I do it like that. I usually just look up for quotes and meanings and stuff like that, basically. I usually just find stuff like that.
No,
Deep meanings of quotes of people.
No, that's all good. It's all good. Hey, sometimes you gotta find that. Sometimes there's certain quotes that just hit you close to home with anything in general, here and there overall, for what you could do.
Yeah, like this one I found today. Each person goes through their life depending on and bound by our individual knowledge and awareness, and we call it reality. However, both knowledge and awareness are equivalent. One's reality might be another's illusion. We all live in our own fantasies, don't you think?
That's true. That's true on hand. Very true on hand. I mean, we all have our own fantasies on hand, but for the most part, we also are all dreamers too. We want to achieve. We want to make everything into reality too, no matter what. So let me talk about the RP scene on hand. Now, I only know certain RPs based on names that I've bumped into from different people on hand. Some names that occasionally pop up or so. But for your side on hand, what do you think about the RP scene right now, or basically like anything brand new pops up on your side, or just like anything that sticks out to you at this moment in time?
For me, nothing. All the RPs I'm in really stick out because they all have their own individual things that make them more unique than others. There are people, how they're made, how they're done, who runs them, and all that stuff. Every RP is unique in its own right, is what I believe in.
No, that's understandable. Understandable on hand. And it's just also, too, it's like, you know, the rapid change within the VRChat system where basically, like, RPs are becoming more frequent compared to, like, you know, at that time or so, you had your bigger ones that were already, you know, like, mainstream and everything, and then basically there was, like, smaller ones you could easily find. Like, say if you're at a public pug, for example, there might be, like, a small RP happening there, even if it's out of random chance. So, but I will say overall or so, like, it's an interesting change. It's an interesting landscape that's been growing more and more as time goes by, RP-wise in general, especially for where it has to lead. But, past that or so, I was going to ask, too, like, for how long you've been on VRChat, you've probably seen a lot of different groups of people as the times goes by. Like, you probably, even if you had to hop around from different place to place or place, you've seen, like, each and different one. And I was going to ask on hand, from all the different groups you've been a part of or so, does each one have like anything that sticks out to you, or basically something that you could take with you as you begin to grow as a human being, or kind of like as time goes by overall?
It's an interesting question. Yes, but also sometimes no. It just really depends on what happens and what goes next and all that stuff.
No, I got you. And plus, not only that, too, it's like, understands, like, everybody's got their own different clique, for the most part. People they always stick around with, or basically be able to hang out with. And I feel like, too, which I was going to ask you, does it seem a little bit harder on hand to be able to, like, reach out to different other people, for the most part, especially when you're always familiar with the ones you have around you?
Sometimes, but then there are sometimes it doesn't. What I always like to say is, just take that one little step to see what happens next.
Takes that one little step to see what happens next. I got you. Got you on hand for that. And I also, to add something to it or so, oh, that was weird lag. To add something else to it on hand or so, I was gonna say, I don't suppose you get like interesting stories from each group you ever been a part of, like something that would stick out to you, like say like a funny moment, or like a moment that kind of like reminds you about, you know, that's the group I'm part of here and there.
Funny moments. There was this one group. We were basically some close friends and stuff like that. We basically did some hangout and stuff like that. One of my friends there, he just basically, he drinks a lot and stuff like that, so he did a bunch of stuff. So we were just hanging out that night and basically stuff like that. He comes in and he's drunk and he tells us he drank an entire gallon of Kraken.
Okay. Jesus. All right. Good God.
And he's in VR, so that just makes it worse.
Good God.
And so we were just hanging out and stuff like that, and he's just doing all tons of crazy crap. He's just going all over the place in his room and in VR and stuff like that. So next thing happens is he goes a bit too far from his computer, and his headset gets unplugged, and he goes straight to the wall, hits it, and accidentally goes through the wall.
Oh, God. Good God.
So he just busted his wall and his VR that day because he drank an entire gallon of Kraken.
Well, I could say one thing. I'm pretty sure when he woke up that day, he kind of was trying to recollect why exactly there's a giant hole in his own room. Giant hole in his own wall for...
He was wondering that.
Jeez. Jeez. This is the reason why, I mean, it shouldn't be a thing, but at the same time, it's kind of funny, hilarious to say, but basically, don't drink in VR, just because when you do that, chances are you end up damaging something around you, especially pricey, you know? Depending on what kind of thickness of that wall is. Past that or so, when it came, okay, since you've been on so many RPs on hand or so, and you've done a lot of things in a sense or so, is there any tips or advices you can ever give to anybody, or be able to, you know, comfort them in the sense of basically if they're trying to begin their first RP in general, or, you know, trying to fit in?
Don't go, like, super big and stuff like that. Start off small, get to, like, stuff like that, learn, just ask for advice, ask for help, don't be afraid and stuff like that, ask for help. And just, even if you can, look back at some stuff at old RPs and stuff like that, and just try to see if you can figure it out. It's never too much to ask for some help on these types of things, is what I always like to say. Don't rush how you want to RP. Just take your time, do what you can, and find out what suits best for you, is what I always say.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And plus, it kind of falls in line with the whole improv thing, too, where basically it's like you gotta take your time with it. Like, try to feel out the different energies that are in the room. And then once you feel out and get kind of like comfortable with it with yourself, that's when you could be able to improv and everything. Just because you could just say something and it'll be able to float with it. Because you'd be able to know how how the person reacts on hand, especially with everybody's got a different personality, everybody's got a different trait, so something sticks out. Something sticks out on hand here. So, for some different topics on hand, I was going to ask about the VRChat Current Present we have right now, compared to when you first started in 2018, I believe. 2018, compared to where we are now in the present time or so. What are some of the things you wish would have stayed, or some of the things you are glad that had been changed over time or so? Be it like mechanic-wise in this game, trend-wise, or basically stuff that stuff that we have now that kind of changed.
One mechanic that I like is I came in during the time of when the friend system didn't, like, have all those like titles and stuff like that. You didn't have like the color system and all that stuff. I came in around and it was just all that type of stuff. But I kind of like this now because it kind of like gives an identity of like each current person is different from the other and stuff like that. Not where we just all have like the same thing with that. Yes, it's kind of like that nowadays, but there's also a different variety. There's more differences in things like that.
A little bit of differences here and there, just to know who's starting out and who's been around for the longest period of time in this game.
Yeah, like I sometimes have gone to a public world where there's a few visitors and they're just trying to get used to the game, and I tell them some things about how it goes and stuff like that. So it's just interesting to see some of these new mechanics.
And I'm pretty sure you had like some interesting points on hand when it comes to like some of the people you meet, because like with some people on hand, with like certain people on hand or so, like some people come in just basically try to get used to the game. Other times people just come in just to basically, well, meme and shitpost just for the sake of just like getting a reaction of somebody. So
Yeah, there are those types of people, but then there are a lot. That's what I like VRChat. It's a community. Yes, it's a game, but it's more or less more of a social community where everyone is different and anyone can just go at it how they want to.
And there you go. There you go on hand. So, Pastor. So let me ask you about this or so, just because we got a chance to meet in person. Let's talk about TwitchCon. Now, I don't know how I don't know how it went for you in TwitchCon or so, but I was kind of like roaming around a little bit, just trying to. The thing is, when you're flying out to San Diego for the first time, and basically seeing everything around you, you want to try to see as many people as you can because you don't know if you're ever going to see them again or so. And for you, I'm pretty sure it was like that too, because I think that was your first TwitchCon you ever been to, or like first convention?
My first ever TwitchCon I ever went to.
And we got a chance to meet in person or so, and I will say for the most part on hand or so, I'm surprised with the fact that basically we're at the exact same height, almost the exact same height, I think. But and also be able to meet up in general or so for all things. Did you do anything afterwards? After kind of like going to TwitchCon and everything, like did you go see other friends or so?
Oh, I mostly hanged out with my dad since, well, my dad usually lives up north and stuff like that, so he took me and my little brother to TwitchCon. So this is one of the few things we could do as like the boys and stuff like that. Because my dad and my brother live up north, and they have like most of my siblings live up there. I have like 5 sisters and 1 brother.
That's a lot of siblings. That is a lot of siblings.
Yeah, so yeah, no, I usually live down south. I usually use in Southern California. I usually have just my mom and stuff like that, and a few of my other family. So I don't usually get to see some of my other siblings at times, or my dad or stuff like that. But when I do get to see them, it's nice and all that stuff, and I really like it.
Well, there we go. Well, there we go on hand. I mean, and plus not only that or so, with that many amount of siblings you have on hand, I'm pretty sure it's quite the household, especially if you can't get private time for yourself, just to be able to read a book or so.
Yeah, I had to learn how to have a patience of a saint with 5 sisters.
And that's why you're in the Saint Denial model. Aha! It all comes together.
God.
It all comes together.
Gosh, dang it.
There you go. All comes together for the most part.
Oh, Lord.
Now, this is going to be a wild card thrown in just because I always have this question for everybody because everybody's got like an answer on him, but since I don't quite know on hand, I'll ask you right this. Let's talk about anime. Now, this is going to throw you, I don't know if this, because this is going to throw me in a loop or so, but I'm just going to ask you, what would be the first kind of like series or anything that pops in your mind when I speak anime to you?
Naruto
on hand? And like, I'm assuming you watch some of the series of it for the most part from that to everything else, or when do you have time?
Naruto was the first ever anime series that I ever watched. It was the first ever thing I ever watched that was anime. So it always has a special place in my heart.
I got you on hand. Is there any other anime for the most part that kind of like let's say hit you close to home, like you relate to that more than anything else?
Bleach, Fairy Tail, and stuff like that. A lot of other animes and stuff like that. Reincarnated as a slime, a bunch of other things.
I got you. I mean, because it's like everybody has a specific anime that they relate to because of how they are in real life. Like it's got, even if it has like a special meaning or something you grew up with, is like it sticks with you overall. Overall sake for some.
Yeah. The reason why I like Naruto is because it gives me a lot of life lessons and stuff like that. It's an anime, yes, but it also gave very good life lessons that you could take to real life.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, even if it's been memed on so much, at least it has some very life stories on hand to be able to share here and there. Be able to share for the most part and just be able to like enjoy on hand. I guess this leads me down to my last question for the most part. And as you can see here, I have this camera right here. And what I'm going to do is give you the center floor here. And go right ahead. I got you. Right. There you go. Give you the center floor. And basically the question I have on hand to ask you is, what are your goals and dreams And if you can, what would be the best advice you can ever give to anybody else? I'm gonna back up. I'm gonna let you have this.
What are my goals and dreams? My goals? I want to live a good life where I can just maybe have a family one day, find someone I can love, and just really just have a nice life. And for stuff like that, for advice for someone. Yes, times are trying, they're hard nowadays, but never forget you got people there that are there to help you. You got friends, you got family, you got some stuff like that. Yes, there might be some difficult times these nowadays, but for the most part, remember, you gotta keep going, you gotta keep your head high.
Well, there you go. I was gonna say for the most part on hand or so. I'm just gonna say this. No, you're good. You can bring yourself in. But I was gonna say for the most part, you seem to enjoy the smaller and simple things in life, and with that I can respect on hand, because like you don't need anything bigger than life in general. You just need what you have right in front of you. So
Yep.
There you go on hand, guys. And with that in mind, that will be Shoot the Breeze episode 20.